What's up, Foxtrotters? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you're new here, welcome, welcome. If you're returning, hello. It's nice to see you all again. You guys look great. Yes, you person sitting in the office in front of a computer who hasn't blinked in hours. You also look great. I hope everyone's having a wonderful day. I am. I actually have the day off today, so I've been having a really nice day of doing relatively nothing, and it's been wonderful. I'm sure a lot of you can relate. So today we're going to be doing, per the request or per the winner of the poll, we're going to be doing a solely Arbonne video today. It's going to have a little bit from r/anti-MLM stuff with Arbonne as the heading, and then there's also going to be, I have a couple articles to talk about and just some kind of general Arbonne nonsense. So if that sounds like something you would enjoy seeing, then please stay tuned. So normally when I start these more in-depth type videos, I go to Google, I type in the name of the MLM, and I get bombarded by a slew of articles appearing to be unbiased, but then all turn out to be owned by consultants who are totally for the product or company or whatever it is. So I'm not going to do that. I'm going to skip that, and I instead went straight to arbonne.com, because what better thing to do than to go straight to the source, right? So I did that, and I found this on the About Us page, and it lets you know like who started Arbonne. It was actually in Switzerland. Who knew? It was this guy named, I'm so sorry to my Swiss friends, I'm going to butcher this, Peter Mork. I'm so sorry, please fix that down below. I'm sure I just butchered that. Anyway, moving on. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and read this little blip in my very best Android voice, because that's the vibe I got, you know, like Portal 2 Android voice, you know, like Vanilla Sky voiceover, creepy voice. So I'm going to try my hand at it. Let's see what happens. The idea to provide skincare products that are unparalleled in quality and effectiveness was developed in Switzerland in 1975, when one man, Peter Mork, together with a group of leading biochemists, biologists, and herbalists, set out to fulfill his vision and founded Arbonne. Arbonne skincare products, based on botanical principles, came to fruition in the United States in 1980 and are now shared throughout the world by a growing network of Arbonne independent consultants. Building on those same founding principles, the product line has since grown to include both inner and outer health and beauty products that are unparalleled in quality, safety, value, benefits, and results. The wonderful thing about Arbonne is that it's not just about great products. It's also about great people. The Arbonne family is made up of thousands of individuals working to make their dreams come true through sales incentives and rewards, travel opportunities, a competitive success plan, and great products. Arbonne offers a unique opportunity that can help make anyone's vision for a future a reality. Okay, so it was really difficult to enunciate everything because I guess I just learned a lesson. I don't pronounce my words very clearly when I speak. I notice I do that a lot, and now that I'm doing these recordings and having to listen to myself frequently, I'm like, oh boy, isn't that something I do frequently? I'm sure none of you have noticed that yet. All right, anyway, so the only thing about this that I find encouraging at all is that being an American, I'm relieved to know that America is not the creator of all of the MLMs. I mean, technically it says that it came to fruition in the US in 1980, but the person who came with the vision for Arbonne was from Switzerland, and he came with got the idea in 1975. And again, to my Swiss friends, I am so sorry I'm so sorry that I really murdered that name when I said that. Okay, so this is funny. I ended up clicking on a link on the website that was like, want to see if there are any job openings near you? And I'm like, what do you mean? Like, there's always job openings. Like, that's the whole thing. There's unlimited job positions available for consultants. But okay, so I figured I'll entertain this. I click on it. It pulls me to this page, and I'm looking at it. And if you look at the very bottom where I highlighted it, I don't know if you can see that on your screen. I hope YouTube's screen didn't cut it off. But anyway, it says, not ready to apply, ? Connect with us for general consideration. Like, they're like, oh, you don't want to be a consultant? Well, give us your information anyway. Give it. Come on now, give it. You clicked on it. Give us your information. Come on, give it. It's just so pushy already. Under the guise of being like, oh, we just want to see if there's any job availabilities for you. Like, come on. This whole career is nothing but a job availability. Like, the company itself is just like constantly refilling job openings. All right, now I'm going to steer away from the Arbonne website because I can already tell that the internet algorithm gods are going to probably just overload me with MLM ads. So here we go over to r/anti-MLM for some Arbonne specific goodies. Ready to cry right now. I've not had the best past few months, and an old friend reached out to me, offered to take me to lunch, and have girls' day to cheer me up. We have got to talking, and I opened up about some issues, most recently one of my partners ending things with me, and she goes,
Well, hun, I'm not surprised if I'm being honest. You haven't been taking care of yourself, and your skin is an absolute mess. Why would he want to stick around, especially when your job doesn't pay you that much? You don't have much of a future.
I was so stunned. Yeah, we all are. I just stared back at her in shock when she goes,
But don't you worry, I have something to solve all your problems. I have a business where we make amazing skincare products, and we are always looking for awesome girls like you. Let me help you out, get you a little product, earn you some money, and find you somebody new.
Oh, because she's a matchmaker now. Arbonne, did you know that? Arbonne matchmaking business. It's a whole thing. I shouldn't have said that out loud. They're going to take that now and they're going to do it now. It's going to happen if it doesn't already exist somewhere. I excused myself to go to the bathroom, cry a bit, then I came out, said I had to leave, and bolted. Then she calls me a few minutes ago and says how ecstatic she was that we could reconnect and how much she appreciated my interest in her company. And as a thank you, she hid a few treats in my purse when I was in the bathroom. Oh, and by the way,
Can you take a picture of your face now and then in a month or so after using them so I can use them as testimonials? Thanks, babe.
wow. That was, that was pretty, I was going to say blunt, but blunt implies that there's like a level of honesty to it. No, that was just really rude for her to just come at you like that and to say that your skin and your money is why your man left you. That's terrible. You're a more even-tempered person than I, because in that situation, I don't know, I wouldn't have thrown any punches or anything. I don't want to be a violent person, but I'm just saying, I think some other words might have come out of my mouth, if you know what I mean. I might have said some other choice things. But yeah, unfortunately, even though Arbonne is what we're looking at today, this does seem to be a pretty commonplace thing amongst all MLMs, especially ones that do things like that focus on health and beauty, right? They tend to really hit you where it hurts, like you're ugly. You know, they just come at you like that. And then, you know, for most normal people, that it doesn't matter how confident you are in yourself. You know, someone comes at you and just says stuff like that, it's going to make you kind of stop in your tracks and be like, hey, what the heck? You know, but yeah, to heck with that person. I'm sure that they didn't make it very far in their company, not with an attitude like that. I mean, let's just say that the karmic pendulum swings both ways, right? It comes back down. It always does. Arbonne is willable? Well, yes, if you mean they can take over your job, I guess.
Is what you're doing willable? A couple years ago, I sat down with the appropriate legal team and put things in place that if anything ever happens to me, my kids inherit my Arbonne biz. You see, no matter how much you love your job, the funny thing is, when you quit, they stop paying you. Shrug. But what if you could change your brand and create a residual income asset that you can leave to the people you love the most? Love your job? Great. Keep it and start a side hustle in the nooks and crannies that can give you more wiggle room, extra money to pay off debt, take the pressure off your partner, grow yourself as a person, and have the chance to build something that...
Thank God it gets cut off there. I'm sure whatever it said was real dumb. Okay, we're going to talk more about these mythical white Mercedes later. We're just going to focus on the fact that this poor woman has been sold some kind of snake oil, some snake juice, where she thinks that leaving her Arbonne business to her kids is going to be like, I don't know, I'm going to assume this is supposed to be on par with like leaving a will and leaving them like an inheritance, leaving them your house, leaving them a real business. It just makes me very sad. And I like how she says she sat down with the appropriate legal team. Like, well, whatever legal team it was that had you sign over and do this Arbonne thing, so now your kids are infected with Arbonne if something were to happen with you, like, or to you. I'm sure appropriate is the interesting word there. Appropriate to the needs of Arbonne, I guess. But I don't know if appropriate was the right word. Maybe you should have found someone who was like an ethical legal team. That might have been a better choice to go find those guys. They might have helped you leave something that won't ruin your kids' lives. I don't know. Your children don't deserve this. And I'm sure you're a great mom. I mean, look at those grown kids all there praising you and putting up with your shenanigans. Like, okay, we're going to take a dumb selfie for mom. Sure. You know, and by the way, you look amazing. Like, I doubt Arbonne has anything to do with that at all. And so props to you, my dear. But you should really look into investing elsewhere for your children, for their financial success, if something were to happen with you. I appreciate that this mom is thinking proactively, right? She wants to leave her children something, but this ain't it. Oh, good. Glad to see another MLM getting in on that we can cure cancer BS. Okay, that's just, oh my gosh. Like, don't you think if there was a cure for cancer, like, it would be all over everywhere, the front page of the newspaper, like, everyone who had cancer would want to know that, or know someone who has it, or whatever. Like, these people are so arrogant. They're so arrogant to believe that they are the special smart ones that have discovered the cure that all of these doctors and brilliant scientists working together couldn't figure out. Like, just...
No disease, including cancer, can exist in an alkaline environment. The whole purpose of the 30 Days to Healthy Living program is to get your body back to the alkaline state. This is why it is not a diet, but truly a lifestyle change.
Okay, wow. And this is definitely Arbonne. I did Google it. The 30 Days to Healthy Living program is one of their ridiculous, like, cleanse packages. That's, like, pretty much what Arbonne mostly is. It's like, do a 7-day skincare thing. You do a 30-day cleanse, a 12-day detox. You know, like, everything is just like a package that you buy, and you have to take it all at a certain time frame. And then they have, like, vitamins and all sorts of stuff. Oh my gosh, there is so much stuff that they sell. I had no idea. It's like skincare, makeup, supplements, like anything you could think for health and beauty, and then some. They have it. And this is just a load of horse manure, okay? No disease, including cancer, can exist in an alkaline environment. And then there's right below that. It's amazing. This program gets your body back to the alkaline state. So they're being careful with their words. They're not saying directly that this will cure cancer, but they are saying that if you go on the 30 Days Healthy Living program, it will get your body back to an alkaline state. And if you deduce by what we've read here, if your body's in an alkaline state, cancer can't exist there. It's amazing. It's a breakthrough in science for everyone. Nobel Peace Prizes all the way around. I always love to read a tale from an ex-Hun, someone who was on the inside. I feel like it's invaluable information. It's just always good to hear it from somebody who knows what it was like to get involved, and then also someone who could recognize maybe where they were at in their life and why they were susceptible to falling into the MLM. And I think that can be crucial and critical for tons of other people who might be in certain vulnerable situations where they can fall prey to this kind of stuff. So let's go ahead and read this together. So a while back, I obtained an injury that put me out of work for 4 months. I'm not going to get into specifics because I would like to remain as anonymous as possible, but anyhow, I'm a waitress, and basically, if I don't work, I don't make money. I ended up posting a status like, "This sucks, I need to find a way to make money from home." A friend of mine that I've known for 10 years and went to school with approached me with the whole Arbonne thing, and I fell for it. I was super desperate for money when I was out of work, and she totally sucked me in. Asked for a meeting with her upline. I met with them at Panera. They essentially told me that they make so much money and that it didn't matter if I tried the product before attempting to sell it because the product just sells itself. Made it seem like a no-brainer and extra enticing.
You're gonna be a total boss, babe. That white band's in no time.
Ew, they infected me with their faux excitement. Anyhow, my dumb self got a credit card to buy over $900 worth of product, all of which I hated. Eyeliner burned my eyes, bronzer was sparkly and chalky, all of the facial products made my skin burn and my eyes water, the body scrub made me incredibly itchy, the protein powders and fizz sticks tasted like crap, I can't sell something that I hate and actually feels like acid on my skin, and everything was entirely overpriced. Threw a party which went awful, and I knew that my friends were only buying stuff to be supportive, not because they were especially interested. I went to a few group meetings where the same women cried and told the same story over and over again, like,
"I retired my husband. I work in my pajamas."
They legitimately never once spoke on the product they are selling, because it's not about the product. It's about selling the dream. It's about recruitment. It was all so fake. That was a bit over a year ago, but I'm still so mad I fell for it and still paying off that credit card on some blank product. Okay, don't beat yourself up too much. Just be glad that you got out of it at all. And it sounds like you were in a vulnerable time, and I can totally relate, okay? I am a server right now, and I have been off and on for many, many years. So I totally understand, because when you get injured, when you are a waitress, when you're waiting tables and you are on your feet, like that is terrifying. You're like, how am I going to make money? Because you can't wait tables if you have like a broken ankle, right? You just can't. So that's a really scary time. And I've been in those situations before where I've had like a back injury and I couldn't work and I did not know what to do. And I could have fallen for something like this at that time when it was about, probably about 7-8 years ago, before I even really understood what an MLM was. I mean, I really even just this last year became fully aware, if you will. So, yeah, so anybody can be kind of in that vulnerable position, right? So they caught her at a really good time. They did. Plus, it was a friend of someone that they'd known for 10 years. So it's like, you trust your friends. And unfortunately, in this case, once they get sucked into an MLM, you can't really trust them in the same way. Just because, if they're in it long enough, they've probably drank a certain amount of Kool-Aid. So now they're doing some kind of repetitive stuff and they're going to be saying the same things over and over again. And also good to know, my skin is very sensitive, and I'm sure a lot of people feel the same way and have sensitive skin. So like I already knew I was never going to try the Arbonne stuff, but like even more reason for me to stay away from it now. Like everything makes my skin break out and turn patchy and itchy and scratchy. So like I don't want anything to do with any of that, nor do I want any of their weird protein powders that I don't know what's in them. Yeah, and then how they have those meetings where people say things, like, I've retired my husband, I work in my pajamas, like, that's great. Are you working in your pajamas because you're working 24/7 and you don't even have time to shower and get dressed? Like, we need to be more specific about why and where and when you're in your pajamas. Like, is it just for funsies, or is it because you have no other option? And did you retire your husband because you brought him into the business? Is he selling the crap too? I've heard of that. These like the Lula husbands, right? They exist. So I would imagine there's Arbonne husbands or Arbonne partners who get sucked into this thing too. But oh, that's just terrible. And don't beat yourself up too much, I hope, OP, because really you deserve a lot of credit. You got yourself out. Yes, you fell in. Yes, you have a little bit of debt, but I would just honestly be grateful that that's all you have. It's just this ridiculous memory and a little bit of debt to pay back, Just don't ever do it again. Okay, this one's funny. So I tried Arbonne for the first time today. I am definitely not a Hun, I swear. We believe you. So I started a new job semi-recently, and we have a gym in our building that is used not only by us, but also by everyone else who works for us, but in different locations. I've been going to the gym and also patting myself on the back, apparently. Good for you. And in the women's bathroom, there's a shelving unit people use to store their things. On top, people have left some items for the group to use. Tampons, bless this person, lotion, etc. I gotta say, bless the people who leave the tampons around. You're the real MVPs. The other day, a particular bottle caught my eye because the logo looked like the Anastasia Beverly Hills makeup logo. And you best bet, if someone put that stuff on the shelf, I'ma try it. We work for the government, so I was very shocked that anyone here could afford ABH and then donate it to the rest of us plebs. Upon picking up this cursed bottle, turns out it's actually Arbonne. Of course, my pulse quickens and my stomach turns to knots, knowing there might be a current Hun lurking just around the shower curtain. Yeah, they just planted it. Now they're like waiting for you. They're like watching and waiting. That's funny. It's a very small, slim bottle of an advanced extra moisture restorative cream with SPF 20. Because the bottle is so small, I'm assuming it goes on your face. Well, I'm here to put my life on the line for you guys, but I am not putting this on my face, my precious. No, I get it. That's your moneymaker. Totally understandable. So I squirt a little of this magic Arbonne cream on my hand, and let me tell you. You ever smell cheese that's been in your fridge for too long? Unfortunately, yes. You ever smell the delightful scent of fennel? Yeah. Can you imagine these two at once? And a hand cream? No. I would say I gagged, but I promised the husband I'd work on being overly dramatic. But it was awful. It was also extremely tacky, like a makeup primer, but oily at the same time. Ew. I could smell it on my hand the whole time I drove home. I love this sub, but I think that's the last time I donate my life for it. Yeah, don't do that ever again, but thank you for doing that for us. I have not heard of this advanced extra moisture restorative cream with SPF 20, but I'm not surprised. Arbonne has an incredible amount of products. It's really quite stunning. I don't know where they find the time. Yeah, the smell, I bet that's hilarious. You know, and smell is definitely preferential, but I'm just going to go ahead and believe this person 100% outright. They just seem trustworthy, even though they did say they promised the husband they'd work on being overly dramatic. Like, I'm still here for it. Yeah, and I'm glad you didn't put that stuff on your face. I wouldn't want you to do that for us. We don't want you to do that. I also thought it would be important, since some of you had said that you have people, friends, family who've gotten into Arbonne recently. I thought it would be interesting to go over the compensation structure of the company, just in case anyone was confused on what they could expect as far as earnings, especially if they're new. Okay, so I'm not going to read this whole little first bit. I'm just going to kind of let you glance over here. So what do you need to know about joining? The Independent Consultant Compensation Summary. What is Arbonne? What is a business opportunity? You know, all those same crap. We're here to transform others' lives. Run a business from your phone. You know, just blah, blah, blah. Just that kind of stuff. But when we get to the interesting stuff, it's in the second half of this particular flyer. So top half, boring, benign, whatever. I mean, you could change the name on that to It Works or Herbalife or whatever, and I'm sure it says almost the identical stuff. So, all right. The next one, we have the actual breakdown of the compensation. So this is where it gets very interesting. So we can see right there under what's typical, the average annual earnings of Arbonne independent consultants who had earnings in 2018. All right, so I've gone ahead and bracketed in the purple there, the bottom three brackets, I guess, and those are the different positions. The bottom one is obviously someone who's first enrolled, so like a regular Joe or Joanna, whoever it is who's starting, independent consultant, so that's the base level. And it says the top 50 people on average in that grouping makes $9,000 a year. Okay, in that top 50, okay, sure. But then the bottom 50 people or whoever they were only made $18. Like, are you kidding me? A year? $18 a year? How do you even calculate $18 a year? And then it gets even more interesting. So if you just go to we're going to look at the column that says average percent at level. So that means what percentage of the people within the company are at those positions. So you'll see the national vice president, which makes a very comfortable earning, average annual earning of $260,000 a year. Yeah, that's pretty comfy. That's pretty nice. Oh wait, that's 1%. And I bet that's a padded number too. It's probably not even 1%. Because I did the math. I added all the percentages up and I think it was off a couple, but I'm pretty bad at math, so I might have done it wrong. But I feel like it was off a little bit, but these numbers typically are padded anyway. So, and then let's go down to the next one. So the regional vice president, on average, they're making $71,000, just over, and that's 2%, okay? So that's great. So the top 3% are making beyond comfortable. They are doing very well in their endeavors. But I guess if you look at the columns that are the most confusing to me are the top 50 average and the bottom 50 average column. I'm not quite sure why they show the spread. I think it's just because probably legally they have to. So, I mean, even if you're a national vice president, if you're in the bottom 50, you're making only in quotations, $98,000. I mean, that's still a lot of money, but you're nowhere near the average annual earning. And then if you go down to the regional vice president, that's interesting. I did not notice that before. So under regional vice president, the second row, under bottom 50 average, the bottom amount of people who made the money, who made money, but were still regional vice presidents, were $27,000. $27,000 a year? That's still terrible. That's awful. That's not good. I mean, unless you have someone else that's also making like a really good income and then that's supplemental, like that's one thing. But how much work do you have to put in to become the regional vice president? My guess is a lot, because look at the time you have to put an under average time to position, that row or that column right there. I mean, just to become a national vice president. And again, these numbers are all like, I'm sure they're not exact in any way. A lot of them are probably guesstimations, if you will. So basically what we've learned are the three bottom rows make no money. You make no money. Unless you're that one person who's in the area managers who is in the top 50 and you're making 58,000, which is still pretty good, you know, but I mean, I'm confused by the top 50 and the bottom 50 average. It's like just a lot of extra numbers. So it's like, oh, on average, you would make this much. Oh, wait, you might make only $103 as a district manager, but you could also make $22,000 as a district manager. Like, that's a big jump. That's a big, big, weird jump. All right, now let's go down to the fine print that I highlighted in the yellow. You might have already been looking at it. I hope the YouTube screen didn't cut this off. Sometimes when I upload things onto YouTube, the screen's like a bit smaller. That's my own formatting thing. I gotta figure that out, guys. I'm a noob. I'm trying. I'm getting better, okay? All right, so it says, these figures do not represent Arbonne independent consultants' profits. Do I need to say that again? Let's say that again. These figures do not represent Arbonne independent consultants' profits, as they do not include expenses incurred by Arbonne independent consultants in the promotion of their businesses and do not include retail commission from reselling product. What? Excuse me? So not only are the numbers padded, but they really are guesstimations. They're like, oh, well, you know, we're not going to include gas or having to buy your own products or promoting or your business cards or like whatever the heck. That's really awful. So those people down there who are in the independent consultant row, they're just getting screwed left and right. You know, they're just getting like, I mean, it's terrible for them. The people who make $9,000 as the independent consultant, I mean, that's really great, but how much of that had to go to like hotel expenses, their car, you know, their cards, everything, all of it, probably a lot. And that's what's so shady about this is you see the numbers and you're like, wow, almost convincing. But then you actually look at the numbers and it is so shady. It's just so shady. Anybody that I know or would know that was going to be getting into this, I would definitely be concerned, and I would want them to see this compensation chart, because I think even though I am not good with jargon, I'm not a business marketing person at all. And just by saying how I said business marketing, that probably became clear, right? But I mean, anybody I think could look at this and get the same kind of information that I just got. They would come away with the same feeling that I have, which is there's no way that this is legitimate. Also, on a quick side note, at the very bottom of the flyer, they illustrate how their return policy works, and it just sounds like it's going to be very complicated and difficult, as most returns to these type of companies are. They don't make that process easy. They pretend they do, but they don't. Also fun to note, you know, just a little side note, you know, take it with a grain of salt, whatever. But I did find information online stating that in May 2017, a class action lawsuit against this company actually had been filed against Arbonne International, a multi-level company that sells health and beauty products, as well as 5 top Arbonne consultants, alleging that the company is a pyramid scheme in which consultants make money by recruiting others to join, and the company and its consultants deceptively represent that people who join Arbonne can make a significant income when, according to plaintiffs, over 86% of consultants lose money and only the tiniest minority of consultants achieve the represented financial success. Okay, so that was what was filed there in May 2017. So you can see the dates. It goes to July 2017. The case was transferred to the federal courts. The case stayed pending, etc. Then you get to October 2017. And then you get all the way to March 18th. Up to April 18th. So essentially, the case was dismissed without prejudice, and that is usually because a settlement was reached between the two parties, which could mean anything. A settlement can mean anything. A settlement just means it's behind closed doors. We don't get to know anything about whatever happened back there. Whatever went on, we won't ever know. So following the March 2018 settlement agreement and resulting dismissal, plaintiffs filed a notice of dismissal indicating that they would be dismissing the case with prejudice. So it started out like, oh, they're going to get them. But then, of course, these MLMs are sneaky, and they usually have very good lawyers. They know the law. You know, they know where they fit into these things. They know every loophole. Case in point here. This is a legitimate case. So they literally had a lawsuit against them filed for being a pyramid scheme, and they were able to be like, no, that's not what's going on. No, you should just dismiss this case. Nah, don't worry about them. They're all overreacting. Just dismiss this. Just push it under the rug. It's fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. All right, now we're going to tie into that whole car thing, that whole how can people get cars just by becoming a regional manager or whatever it is. Well, there's more to it, of course. And I found this article on The Spinoff, which is actually a New Zealand-based website that does all sorts of really good articles. It's a whole bunch of journalists that do a lot of writing, and they do a lot of reviews, and they do a lot of this type of stuff. So this is actually a pretty cool article. I will link it in the description bar below if you want to read it. It is entertaining and informative. But let's go ahead and read this page here. Again, I'm not going to read the whole article because you can just go read the article that was written by the person on the site where they intended it to be read. You know, I feel like that would just be completely stealing if I did something like that. But I will read this snippet here because I think it's enticing and may entice you to read the article in full. The great thing about it, she says, is that she receives a commission from the sales of all those people she's recruited and from those they recruit in turn. And all she had to do is catch up for coffee with people for 6 to 10 hours per week, telling them how it works. There are 5 different levels you can reach within the company, depending on sales and the number of people you recruit, she informs us. And when you make it to regional vice president, you get a Mercedes-Benz. We later find out you get money towards renting one, which can only be white, and you have to keep your sales high to hold on to it. As you can see in my notes there, it's wow, just like actually owning a car. She's already doing amazingly after 8 months, she says, and her sister has also decided to join Arbonne instead of studying, so she could easily earn the cost of her student loan and the time it took to get a qualification. And of course, that's just a snippet, right? But the part that's highlighted is really the part I'm focused on. So you don't get a Mercedes-Benz. They give you some money towards renting one. Okay, does anyone know what that means? I'm sure you all do. You all know what that means. And I know that these people who are in the company know what it means too. They know they don't own that car. But when they are renting one, they have to pretend like it's their car, okay? So let's go ahead and rewind. Remember at the beginning of the video, we had the picture of the mom with her kids, and there's the Mercedes-Benz there, and they're all happy because mom got this nice car and is leaving them the Arbonne biz fortune. Well, just remember that. She doesn't own that car. She's renting it. Oh, my heart. I don't want this for anybody. I really don't. This is just garbage. Total garbage. All right, it's everyone's favorite segment of the video. It's the wholesome moment of the day. Let's see who you folks sent over. Oh, my heart. I love this so much. Okay, so these two guys are Horton and Henry, and this was sent over by Lori. Thank you, Lori. Now, I love this for 2 reasons. One, I'm a sucker for guinea pigs. I've had them growing up. I think they're amazing pets. And I love the names, Horton and Henry. It's just too cute. Okay, so these two guys are 3-year-old brothers. They were adopted from the SPCA, and these poor little guys were there for 3 months because no one wanted to adopt grown adult piggies. They are loving and affectionate, and most shelters typically have an area where they have little fuzzies who need homes to go to. And next up we have Lucky, who was also sent over by Lori. Now, Lucky is a blind wild eastern cottontail rabbit. I'm sure you can see the congenital cataracts here in the eye with the flash on the camera. She was actually rescued as a tiny kit from right in the middle of the road, which is not the best spot for a blind bun. And Lori fed her kitten milk replacement, or KMR, and raised her. And she could not be released into the wild because of that, so she had already bonded with Lori and was given special permission to keep her. So 3 years later, she's spayed and spoiled, and I love it. And you know, this goes to show it. Rescuing animals comes in all different kinds of shapes and styles. Rescuing an animal doesn't have to be from, you know, a shelter. Rescuing comes in many, many ways. So thank you, Lori, for sending this and for rescuing these cute little fuzzballs. They are very lucky to have you. Last but not least, we have these 3 guys, and this was sent over by Ellie, who is actually one of my patrons. Thank you so much, Ellie, once for being a patron and twice for sending this adorable photo over of these 3 really cute dudes. So we have Spencer, who is the tabby, Tilly, who is the white tortoiseshell, and Scout is the little black kitty. And they're all rescue kittens from a bad home, and Spencer is currently on a diet because he's a bit chunky right now. That's okay. He's still beautiful. And if you're looking to get a new member of your family, I definitely recommend to adopt and not shop. Check out your local shelters, your local humane society. Donate if you can, volunteer if you can, and don't forget to spay and neuter your pets. And if you would like to see a photo of your pets here, then go ahead and send it to my email, which is in my channel description, and you will see your pets here eventually. All right, Foxtrotters, that's going to do it for me today. Thank you so much for tuning in. If you liked that video, please hit that like button down below. If you have any good comments or suggestions, please hit it down below as well. I love to read your comments, and I love interacting with you all. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and become a Foxtrotter. Come join the den. Den Mother would love to have you. And I'm going to link my Patreon here somewhere. Feel free to check that out, and if you don't, there's no issues at all. I'm just glad you came to spend time with me, honestly. All right, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. I definitely learned a lot over this Arbonne thing. I hope some of you learned as well. I hope I didn't like just confirm fears. Maybe that's what I did. I'm not sure. I know some of you had said that you had some friends or family who have gotten involved in Arbonne, so I don't know. Hopefully this was a little bit enlightening. At the very least, I hope you got a laugh out of it. And real quick, before we go, folks, I just want to say, thank you so much for all of the support, and the fact that I'm about to cross over 2,700 subscribers soon is mind-boggling completely, and I have nothing but thanks and gratitude for all of you. So I'll just end it right there before I start blubbering, because I've been kind of emotional. I already cried into my Earl Grey about this earlier. Maybe you saw my post earlier about it. Anyway, so I'm just going to get going, and folks, as always, until the next video, take care.